Hi, I'm Jim Place, and welcome to this class. I'm really excited about this class. I think the speakers did a phenomenal job of presenting the topic, and I think it's information that you're going to take back to your classroom right away and have an immediate effect upon you as an educator. So that's the reason I'm so excited about it. The name of the class is Positive Strategies to Prevent Bullying, and that quite obviously is what the entire class is all about. We're going to approach bullying from a lot of different areas, including cyberbullying. We have an expert, Stephen Smith, that's going to talk about that. The class was put together by myself and my daughter, Carolyn Heller. Carolyn is a counselor at Nagel Middle School down in Cincinnati, and she and I combined to put the class together. The primary presenters in the class are three speakers who we've had in all of our live classes, and they are outstanding. The first speaker is Jim Basemius. He is a nationally known speaker on bullying. We've had him speak in the live classes probably for the last 6 or 7 years. The response has been phenomenal to him. He speaks all over the country, and we're going to talk more about Jim later and how you can get involved with Jim if you'd like to. Also speaking is Stephen Smith. Stephen is an expert on cyberbullying. This is his specialty. It's a full-time business for him. He has written a book on it, which is in your reading assignments, and he is really a special person. He's out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Jim Basima is out of Columbus, Ohio. The third speaker is Josh Kaufman. He is the principal at Bluffton Middle School. He's spoken in our classes many, many years, as has Stephen Smith, and very popular. And really his area of expertise is bullying, and especially everything involved with males. And so he goes specifically into that specific area. Now, I assume since you are watching this video that you're pretty good on tech, but if at any time you have a problem with anything relating to this class, please email me. You know, over the last 12 years, we've had over 6,000 educators take one of these classes, not particularly online classes, but one of the Jim Place services, character education classes through the University of Dayton. Quite obviously, we have problems. Everything from, I didn't get my grade, I'm having trouble paying my bill, whatever. We've never had a problem we couldn't solve. I sure hope you're not going to be the first one. I don't anticipate that. I have a wonderful person that I work with at UD. If I can't answer your problem, I forward it to her. If she can't answer it, she'll find somebody to answer it. So please, if you have any problem at all, don't even mess with it. Just shoot me an email. Jim, I'm having a problem. I will be more than glad to do what I can to try and help you take care of the problem. Now, let's go right to logistics. All right, if you will open your Google Classroom, you will see one of the very first things in there is a class information sheet, and it looks like this, okay? I'm going to go through the class information sheet point by point and explain it to you. Now, one thing, if any questions at all, email me, please. I don't want you to have any confusion, like I don't quite understand this or understand that. We'll take care of you. All right. Going right down the class information sheet, I'm going to read right from the sheet. All right, first of all, graduate credits. You can take this class for 1 credit, for 2 credits, or for 3 credits. I'm going to go through with you and explain the difference between the 3, okay? One difference, quite obviously, cost. Second is the amount of work required, and that makes sense, obviously. All right, the one thing that I do suggest, though, if you are a educator that still has a number of years in the field of education, I usually suggest you take it for 3. It really doesn't matter to me either way, but I suggest that. The situation is almost always, often, you look down the road, you can't anticipate something, all of a sudden you say, oh my gosh, if I had 2 more credits, I would qualify for this or qualify for that. For the amount of work involved and for the cost involved, if you can afford it at this time, I recommend it for 3. Quite obviously, you only need 1 graduate credit to get your last certification and then you're done. Take it for 1. But if it's feasible at all, I would recommend not taking it for 3. Which brings me to this. You're going to fill out a registration form. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And when you put your registration form and then you decide, I want to change the number of hours that I'm taking it for, that's not a problem until the end of the grading period. So until grades are actually posted, you can change the number of credits that you want to take it for. Just send me an email. Jim, I put down 2 on the sheet. I want to take it for 1. I want to take it for 3. I send an email to my contact at UD. As simple as that. Once the grades are posted, though, they're in. Now, we've had a situation over the years, it happened numerous times, where someone has emailed me frantically, Jim, I took it for one class. Can I come back and do the requirements for 2 classes and get the extra credits because I just realized I'd get a raise under our new standards that we have for our district if I had 1 more hour? Well, I do it for you. I don't care. I mean, I'm like you. I'm a teacher. But the University of Dayton says no. Once you're in the books at the end of summer, at the end of the session, you are in the books. Just as simple as that. Okay, let's talk about payment. Again, 1 credit, $200. 2 credits, $400. 3 credits, $600. The $25 registration fee does not count towards the tuition. That's different. That pays the speakers. I pay the speakers. I pays for the technical man. Okay? Which also reminds me of this. We've hired a full-time professional technical man to help us with this online class. So believe me, if I can't answer the questions, I'll use my contact at UD, or we go right to our tech man, ask us questions. All right, talking about payment. You will get a registration form. You will not get it now. We wait till we get everyone in the class, and then we'll mail out a registration form. All right, you will fill out that registration form. All right, I will then send that to the University of Dayton, and they will put you in the system. You cannot pay until you're in the system. So you'll get a registration form. It'll be sent to you in Google Classroom. You'll fill that out. You'll send it back to me. I take it to the University of Dayton. You're in the system. All right? Now, so please don't try to pay until you're in the system. You can pay in one of 2 ways. The first way is on the 5th of the month, after the class is completed, you will receive a bill in the mail. So even though you've completed the class, you haven't paid for it yet, your grade's going to be posted. But then you'll receive a bill in the mail on the 5th of the month following the completion of the class. If you just want to wait till you get it in the mail, pay it at that time, no problem at all. But let's say you want to get it done earlier, all right? You can go online and print out your bill and pay it, all right? Now, how do you do that? Well, if you've already taken one of my character classes, you already have your login and password. If you remember it, no problem. If you don't remember it, call University of Dayton Tech Office, 937-229-3888. That number is also in your sheet here, so you don't have to memorize it or write it down. It's right in the sheet. All right, if this is the first time you're taking a class and you want to go and print your bill, call UD Tech, give them the number, and excuse me, that wasn't very good, and they'll give you a login and password, and then you have access. That's called University of Dayton Porches, and they will take care of you. Now, one thing, the best way to pay is by check, all right, or money order, check or money order. If you want to go to the university and pay in person, a few people have done that, not many, you can do that. A third option, which I do not recommend, is paying by credit card. And the reason I don't recommend they do that is because they charge a 3% surcharge. And the reason they do that is basically it's a university policy that primarily affects the undergraduates that have that big, huge tuition payment. They don't want to be paying the fee on that. So there is a 3% service charge if you use a credit card. So let me warn you in advance, I don't recommend that you do that. All right, payment, that's it. All right, let's talk about the next thing on your sheet. It says paper assignment, all right? It tells you the requirements, 12 font, 1 inch margin, double spaced. Please make your paper professional, all right? So when you submit a paper, we've had it before, 36 font, triple spaced, margins about like this. Come on, you're all educators. You give assignments. Would you accept that from your student? It's surprising how the number of times we've had to email people and say, come on, give me a little more than this. And we rejected one, and the person did not resubmit it. We've only had 2 people not get credit for one of these classes, 2 out of 6,000. The one did not resubmit his paper. The other got cut out at lunchtime. I cut out at lunchtime of a character education class. That was in one of our live classes. So get the requirements. 6,000 people have done it. Okay, so I'm going to talk more about the papers and what goes in the paper, but that's basically how the papers should be formatted. Okay, now your grade. This is a pass-fail class. You will receive a CR on your grade report, credit. All right? This is a class, not a workshop. I doubt I would be shocked if you had any trouble with HR or I know you won't with ODE, because this is now a class, not a workshop, and there's a tremendous difference. You're going to do the requirements for a class. So how do you get your grade? All right? All right? If you want it right away, with the date of the grade is posted, I'm going to give you that at the end of the video. I'm going to go through the dates. You will just log in. You'll have a tab there for print your grade. You print your grade report, and you've got it. If all you need is the grade report for HR, you can forward it to them. You can print it or take it into them, however you want to. But that is your grade report. All right. There's another way of getting it. If you just want to wait about 2 weeks after the grades are posted, so you're not going to get it until the grades are posted, my contact at the University of Dayton will mail you a hard copy of your grade report. So either run it off yourself or wait, and we're going to mail it to you. Okay? Now, let's talk about transcripts. All right? Transcripts you have to go and order yourself. On your sheet, there is a section that talks about transcripts. All right? All right? And that will tell you the login to go to and order your transcript. It's a small fee, and then you go and send it to ODE or to your school district or wherever it is that you actually need your transcript sent. All right, again, at the bottom of that sheet, it tells you the phone number for UD Tech and also tells you, please give me a call if you got any problems. All right, next sheet. In your classroom, Google Classroom, would you take out this sheet and look at the sheet that says overview, run it off so we can go through it. I'll go through it point by point. All right, the first thing on the overview sheet is, second thing actually, the first thing is just the general information, number of credits and the work required. All right, for 1 credit, let's go through what is required for 1 credit. Quite obviously, watch this video, which takes about 7 hours. So watch the entire, watch it whenever you want, watch it all at once, up to you. So watch the entire 7-hour video. Next thing, send me 1 question from the video. So you're going to email me and say, here's my 1 question. And I will tell you how that 1 question ties in. But every student has to submit anything you want. I got a question for Jim DeSimas. I got a question for Steve Smith. I got a question for Josh. So any questions you want, send me 1 question relating to anything that one of those speakers wrote to you. The next thing is you have to read 3 articles. So in your Google Classroom is a list of suggested articles, and it looks something like this. All right, so a list of suggested articles. You can choose any 3 that you want to, and you will do a 100-word or more summary of the 3 articles. All right, you will submit that to me. That requirement is done. All right, the last requirement is that you will participate in a virtual night, and at the end of the logistics part of this, I will give you all those dates. So you will participate in a logistics night. What would a logistics night be? It'll be from 6 to 9 o'clock at night. You will log in the first 90 minutes. You will participate in a group of people who are put in groups, and you pick which group you want to try to get you as close to people who do the same thing that you do. So you will have in your Google Classroom a list of questions for the virtual night. You'll just go around in the meeting, and you will answer those questions. I will stop into each one of those meetings at some time during the night, just say hello, see who's there, and see if you've got any questions for me, all right? So that will take 90 minutes. The next is that we will take those questions that you submitted, and each of the 3 presenters will have a part of the portion of the next 90 minutes where they will answer those questions for you. So they will say, here's a question from such and such person, and here's my answer. It might be Jim DeSimas, it might be Stephen Smith. So that's where the point about submitting the questions come in. So again, requirements for 1 hour. Watch the tape, what you're doing right now, all right? Submit 1 question to me, email me, it's very simple. 3 articles, 100-page, 100-word or more review, participate in the virtual night, you got it. Done, 1 credit. All right, for 2 credits, you have to do all of those, plus 1 other thing. You have to write a 6-page reflective paper. Now let's just talk a little bit about the paper. I will give you the date that it is due. You have to mail it to me. Please do not email it to me. So mail me your paper, 6-page reflective paper. Now let me stress the word reflective. It is not a research paper. It is a response to the things that you feel, okay? Now, in your Google Classroom is suggestions for the 6-page paper. I'm going to read through those with you right now and go through those and see what, give you an idea. All right? So pages 1 through 3, write a 1-page response to each speaker. Simple. As you're watching this video, take your notes. You got page 1 written. Next speaker, take your notes. These are my responses. Page 2 is written. Page 3, all right? What should be on that 1 page? A brief summary of the presentation, your reaction to the presentation. Do you feel the presentation applies to your situation? What challenges would you face in implementing these ideas? And do you plan on implementing anything presented? So don't give me a whole page of just a summary, just a brief summary. This is what Jim said, this is what Stephen said, this is what Josh said, and then your reaction to that, just as simple as that. Okay, excuse me. All right, page 4. Meet with one educator who has not taken these classes and tell them about the class. What was their reaction? Spread the character message. This was actually suggested by someone who took my class about 6 years ago, and it's a great suggestion. I love reading the conversation. Call somebody up. If your situation is you go meet with them in person, fine. Someone who's not taken the Jim Place character classes, say, listen, I took this class. Here's what was presented. I want to tell you about it. What's your reaction to it? Page 4. Again, not research-based. We want to know what you've learned from this class, all right? We found that by doing that, number 1, it spreads the character word, get more people involved, but number 2, it causes you to reflect upon what did you get out of the class. Page 5, have you had a personal experience with bullying? It can be in your life, a family member's life, or your classroom. Do you have any experience at all where a situation presented itself where bullying was a part of your life? If so, write a page on that. Page 6, everyone has to do page 6, all right? If you're doing it for 2 credits. It is the most important page there. Write a personal reflection on the overall information presented today. Describe a positive change that you plan on implementing as a result of attending today's class. What did you get out of the class? That's what we want to know. That is so important. Are you a better educator because you took this class? That is so, so important to us in doing that. Now, this is just a suggestion. Let's say you say, I want to write 4 pages about Jim Basemius, because that's what affected, fine. That's what affected you. That's what we want to know. I want to write 4 pages about Stephen Smith. That's great. That would tell me that you really got a passion for that area and you really like it. So I want to write 3 pages about Josh Kaufman. That's great. The paper fits you, okay? And again, a reflective paper. All right. For 3 credits, if you will look in your Google Classroom, all right, in the overview page, we give you options. Each option, when we send it to the University of Dayton, who also send it on to approval for the state, each of those options is basically 15 hours of work. Now, when Carolyn and I put those options together, we worked backwards. We said, what do we think the educators would benefit the most from, all right? Think about some things that if you did those, after you did, you say, that was good. I learned something. I can use it in my situation tomorrow. So we did those kind of things. And read a book and critique it. All right. Now let me talk about the books. There's a list of suggested books there. Let's say you've got a book though that you want to read and critique and it applies, and when it's not on the list, email me. All right. As long as it has substance to it and it relates to the topic, I cannot see myself saying no, all right? I anticipate saying yes. Yeah, that's great, because you got a passion for that. That's what you want to learn. You know, another thing, when I have these projects here, if you've got a project that you think would take about 15 hours and you say, Jim, I'd like to do that, email me. I can't imagine myself saying no if that's what you feel you're really going to benefit from, all right? Here's the second one there is, arrange for Stephen Smith or Jim Basemius to come and speak to your school. They are professional speakers, all right? They are unbelievable. After you watch the tape, you're going to agree. I'd be shocked if you didn't agree with my assessment. They're so good, okay? Josh Kaufman, I got a full-time job. He's got to work as a principal. But let's just say that you are in a situation where you're inspired to go to your administration and say, let's bring, or your PTO, or a civic group in your town or your church, and say, let's bring one of these 2 in as a professional speaker. All you got to do is get that set up, and you got the credit. Now, if there's, obviously you got to go that night and help facilitate it. But let's say that there's more than one of you that want to work on that together. So there's two people from your district that took the class together, and you say, let's work together. That's a pretty big project. That's going to take more than 15 hours to facilitate that and work with the administration, get permission, all that stuff. I'll give credit for a number of you. If you work together and bringing Stephen or Jim to your school district or whatever it is, your church or civic group, whatever, as a professional speaking. Don't have to, but we've had people that have been inspired to do that in the past. Why not get credit for it? You will read through those other things. They are all hands-on, logistic-based things to get these 3 credits.